Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am doing some updates. Thank you so much for great support. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much. And if you have not subscribed, hit the subscription button. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Kenyans, now I want us to talk about this coming Finance Bill 2025. Because due to the last occurrence which occurred during Gen Z protest, it was all about the Finance Bill 2024, in which that kind of finance bill of the last time, it had a lot of punitive taxes and it had a lot of things which were not understood well. So now Ruto has come out with a Finance Bill 2025, in which for now, last time, Cabinet had approved it and now it is in the Parliament of Kenya. So now this Finance Bill 2025, it has several sections in which I want now to talk about it. Guys, before we talked about it, if you're watching the video, please hit the like. Don't forget to like the video. If you like the video, I appreciate so much. So, Kenyans, I want us to talk about these sections of this Finance Bill 2025. So, the first section is about no new taxes. We can remember that the last time there was a lot of taxes in the Finance Bill 2024. But this time around, this Finance Bill 2025, it is known that there is no new taxes introduced. So it says that President Ruto proposes a bold budget with no new taxes aimed to at ease cost of living pressures and restoring public confidence. So this kind of Finance Bill 2025, it is brought only to convince people that Ruto now ameturn into a good man. That's why this Finance Bill is coming with no new taxes introduced, in which Ruto is proposing that this Finance Bill will be of new taxes. So now that's the first section I wanted to talk about, in which it says no new taxes introduced. President Ruto proposes a bold budget with no new taxes. And the reason for this is because Ruto is aimed at easing cost of living pressures and restoring the public confidence. So now that's the first section in which Ruto had introduced to this Finance Bill 2025. Then the second section is massive spending cuts. Government to implement aggressive spending cuts to keep the budget deficit below 4.5% of GDP. So now Ruto has come out to massive spending cuts. So there mali kulikuwa na massive spending, ameamua ku cut the spending. Then the third one, we have the crackdown on tax cheats. We can remember that kumekuwa na a lot of tax cheats, and now Ruto in this Finance Bill coming 2025 ameamua ku crack down on tax cheats. The first under crackdown on tax cheats, it says focus on sealing tax loopholes and cracking down on refund cartels. So under crackdown on tax cheats, Ruto is focusing on sealing tax loopholes and cracking down on refund cartels. Then again, under the crackdown on tax cheats, Ruto is talking about of use of data analytics and tighter audits to trace suspicious refund claims. So now under the crackdown on tax cheats, Ruto is aimed to use data analytics and tighter audits in order to trace suspicious refund claims. Then under the crackdown on tax cheats again, Treasury's discretionary powers on refunds to be curtailed. So under this crackdown on tax cheats again, Treasury's discretionary powers on refunds to be curtailed. When we go on the fourth section of this Finance Bill 2025, we have another section saying that worker and private sector relief. Under this section, worker and private sector relief, it says that tax-free per diem allowances for private employees to rise from shillings 2,000 to shillings 10,000. So under worker and private sector relief, it says that tax-free per diem allowances for private employees to rise from 2,000 to 10,000. Again, under the worker and private sector relief, we have employees required to calculate all tax deduction at salary payment stage for accuracy. So under the worker and private sector relief, Ruto is proposing that employers required to calculate all tax deduction at salary payment stage for accuracy. When we go to the fifth section of the finance bill, there is digital economy boost. And under this, Ruto is talking about 1.5% digital service tax to be scrapped. So this tax which imekuwa kwa digital economy, ya 1.5% itakuwa scrapped off. Again, under digital economy boost, Ruto is saying that new significant economic presence framework to tax multinational platforms. Then again, under digital economy boost, Ruto is saying that crypto tax rate halved from 3% to 1.5% to attract fintech innovations. So under this digital economy boost, we are seeing that Ruto is saying that 1.5% digital service tax have to be scrapped. Then again, he's saying that significant economic presence framework to tax multinational platforms. Then again, he's saying that crypto tax rate halved from 3% to 1.5%. So this tax yenye imekuwa kwa crypto, in which imekuwa 3% tax, itakuwa halved into 1.5% in order to attract fintech innovation. When we go to sixth section, it's under legal and administrative reforms. And under this section of legal and administrative reforms, it says that overhaul of taxes tribunal system to fast track dispute resolution. Overhaul of tax tribunal system to fast track dispute resolution. Again, under legal and administrative reforms, it says strict penalties for failure to file or delay tax return. So there will be a strict penalties for failure to file or delay tax returns. So what's your opinion on that, of strict penalty for failures to file or delay tax returns? Again, when we go to last section, strategic aviation in center, it says that aircraft spare parts for repair and maintenance to be exempted from tax to boost Kenya's aviation sector. So aircraft spare parts for repair zitakuwa exempted from tax in order to boost Kenya's aviation sector. So now guys, what's your opinion on this? Because this finance bill 2025, it has a lot to talk about, but I chose only to talk about these sections. And the section were no new taxes introduction, in which I've talked about. Again, I've talked about massive spending cuts. Then I've talked about crackdown on tax cheats. Again, I've talked about worker and private sector relief. Again, digital economy boost. Then the second last was legal and administrative reforms. Then the last one was strategic aviation incentives. So guys, what's your opinion on this finance bill 2025? Because now the public mood had soared, discontent was rising. Ruto's no new tax stance reflects a major recalibration, an attempt to win back public trust without compromising fiscal goals. So the main aim of Ruto on this finance bill 2025 is to win back public trust without compromising fiscal goals. Kenyan, what's your opinion on this? Drop it at the comment section. Otherwise, thank you so much for great support. Keep subscribing. Let's meet in another video.